Tonight, the wrestling world is trembling, not just shaken, completely shattered. The headlines coming out of SmackDown have left fans in disbelief, locker rooms in silence, and social media drowning in chaos. Because what happened backstage tonight wasn't scripted, it wasn't entertainment, it was real. Jacob Fatu, one of the most powerful, fearless, and dominant men in the entire bloodline, has been hospitalized, and according to multiple internal WWE reports, he might be paralyzed. The night that began as a celebration for Roman Reigns' long-awaited return has ended in tragedy. Cameras didn't catch everything, but witnesses backstage are painting a horrifying picture. And what they describe isn't just a scuffle, it's a brutal ambush that might have ended a career and possibly changed the entire bloodline story forever. When the show went off air, everything seemed fine on the surface. Roman Reigns, flanked by Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu, had just issued one of his trademark warnings to Cody Rhodes and whoever dared to challenge the family. The crowd was booing, chanting "You sold out," and Cody, but backstage, there was tension you could feel in the air. It started small, an argument between Jacob and Solo. Sources say it wasn't about the match or the promo. It was personal. Something about loyalty, leadership, and how Roman was treating them since his return. One witness said Jacob's voice was loud enough to echo through the hallway, "We ain't soldiers, us. We're brothers. But you've been acting like you forgot that." That line, those words might have been the spark that ignited the fire. Roman reportedly turned around, furious, eyes locked on Jacob. What happened next spiraled faster than anyone could stop it. Solo lunged forward, and in seconds, fists were flying. Equipment got smashed. People were screaming. Producers tried to intervene, but by the time security arrived, Jacob Fatu was down and not moving. Paramedics rushed in. You could hear one voice shouting, "Call 911, now." The cameras weren't rolling, but leaked cell phone footage shows Roman pacing around, hands on his head, while Solo stood frozen, staring down at Jacob, shaking. The energy was chaotic, unreal. Jacob was loaded onto a stretcher. His arms weren't moving. His neck was supported by a brace. A few crew members were crying. Roman tried to approach the stretcher, but WWE officials held him back, saying they needed space. By the time the ambulance doors closed, the mood in the arena had shifted from excitement to horror. Fans outside the arena saw the flashing lights, but no one knew how bad it truly was until now. According to early hospital reports from Tampa General, Jacob suffered a severe spinal injury after hitting the metal barricade during the backstage fight. One insider described the scene like this: "You could tell immediately it wasn't part of the show. The way he fell, the sound, it was sickening. Everyone knew something was wrong." Within an hour, WWE medical personnel confirmed that Jacob had lost feeling in his lower body. The entire Bloodline storyline was immediately pulled from next week's SmackDown tapings, and emergency rewrites began. But the biggest shock came a few hours later. Roman Reigns himself showed up at the hospital. WWE staff tried to stop cameras from following him, but fans outside captured Roman walking in, hoodie up, head down, visibly shaken. This wasn't the confident, untouchable tribal chief we're used to seeing. This was a man carrying guilt, fear, and confusion on his shoulders. Inside the hospital, Roman reportedly spent nearly 2 hours in Jacob's room. Security guards cleared the hallway, and no one was allowed near. But a nurse who spoke anonymously told local news that she heard Roman say softly, "You're gonna walk again, us. You hear me? You're gonna walk again." That line alone broke the internet in half. Fans have flooded X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit, sharing their heartbreak and outrage. The hashtags #PrayForJacobFatu and #JusticeForJacob are trending worldwide. But behind the scenes, things are even messy. Some insiders claim that Roman blames Solo Sikoa for losing control. Others say Roman himself threw the shove that caused Jacob to fall backward into the barricade. There's confusion, denial, and finger-pointing all over the place. And here's where things get darker. WWE management has reportedly launched an internal investigation. The fight wasn't just physical. It exposed fractures in the bloodline that might have been bubbling for months. Jacob Fatu's arrival in WWE had reignited the group's energy. Fans believed he'd be the one to restore order, maybe even replace Solo as Roman's true right hand. But it seems jealousy, ego, and manipulation have torn them apart before they even had the chance to rule together. Now, let's break down what insiders are whispering about what really went down. Apparently, the fight started when Roman accused Jacob of not falling in line. Sources say Jacob refused to kneel or acknowledge Roman as tribal chief backstage during rehearsals. Roman reportedly took it as a sign of disrespect. Solo sided with Roman, telling Jacob to learn his place. Jacob responded with, "You ain't my chief, bruh. You just another man in gold." Boom. Silence. Everyone froze. And before anyone could blink, Roman shoved Jacob, who shoved back, and Solo tackled him. It was chaotic, brutal, and in seconds, Jacob was on the floor. But here's the part no one saw on camera. After Jacob went down, Roman was seen screaming at Solo. Not in anger, but in fear. He yelled, "What did you do?" while pushing Solo back. It wasn't a leader talking to his soldier, it was a cousin realizing his family had just crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. WWE officials immediately ordered all cameras off. That's why you won't see it on SmackDown highlights or the WWE YouTube channel. But leaked footage continues to surface, and fans can't stop sharing it. Now, here's where it gets complicated. WWE PR has released a statement saying Jacob Fatu sustained injuries during an unscripted backstage incident and is undergoing medical evaluation, but they avoided the word paralyzed. However, multiple hospital sources and one close friend of Jacob's confirmed that the doctors fear potential spinal cord compression, leaving him unable to move his legs. Surgery has already been done to stabilize his spine, but recovery could take months or longer. Meanwhile, Roman hasn't said a word publicly. Not on social media. Not in any interview. Not even to WWE executives. Sources close to him say he's been completely silent, spending most of his time off camera or with family. But fans are demanding answers. And they want accountability. Some are calling for Solo Siko's suspension. Others are blaming WWE for letting the tension grow unchecked. A few even believe the whole thing was a setup, a desperate attempt by Roman to maintain control of a crumbling empire. In the days since the incident, several Bloodline members past and present have reacted. Jimmy USO, who's been sidelined for months, posted on Instagram, "Blood makes you related. Loyalty makes you family. Stay strong, us." GUSO tweeted simply, "This ain't the way." Even Paul Heyman reportedly broke down during a production meeting, saying, "We built this dynasty on family. And now, family is what's destroying it." But make no mistake, Roman Reigns visiting Jacob wasn't for PR. It wasn't to fix his image. Those who saw him said he looked broken. This wasn't the tribal chief. This was Lady Joseph Anoa'i, the man behind the character, grieving for his cousin. Witnesses say Roman stayed long after visiting hours, quietly leaving through a side exit just before midnight. He didn't speak to the press, but when asked by a fan if Jacob was going to be okay, Roman reportedly paused and said, "We'll fight for him like he fought for us." And that right there might be the line that defines the next chapter of this entire saga. Because now, the question isn't just, will Jacob Fatu wrestle again? It's, can the Bloodline ever recover from this? The story is still developing, but here's what we know heading into next week. WWE has pulled Roman, Solo, and Paul Heyman from live events indefinitely. Jacob remains hospitalized under observation. An internal review is being conducted by WWE's disciplinary board. Cody Rhodes has reportedly reached out privately to Jacob's family offering support. And finally, rumors are swirling that the Bloodline storyline will be completely rewritten, possibly introducing new members to replace those involved in the fight. But let's not lose sight of the human side of this. Jacob Fatu isn't just a performer. He's a father, a husband, a cousin, a warrior. For years, he's battled demons, turned his life around, and made his dream come true by signing with WWE. To see it all potentially ripped away in one night is heartbreaking. Videos from fans outside the hospital show supporters chanting us, as Roman's car drove away. Some were crying, some were angry, some just stood in silence. It's moments like this that remind us behind the bright lights and storylines, these wrestlers are real people with real pain. But don't think the storm is over. If anything, this is just the beginning. WWE officials are reportedly terrified about how to handle this publicly. Do they turn it into a storyline? Do they address it openly? Or do they quietly let it fade away? Because no matter what they decide, fans will never forget this night. The night when family loyalty turned into family tragedy. The night when the Bloodline broke its own blood. And while we wait for updates, one thing's for sure, Roman Reigns might be the tribal chief, but for the first time in years, he looks human, vulnerable, maybe even guilty. As of now, Jacob remains in intensive care. Doctors are monitoring nerve function. His family has requested privacy. But the entire wrestling world is holding its breath. The wrestling world has been holding its breath since the news broke Jacob Fatu is paralyzed following the devastating backstage attack after SmackDown. But now, as the dust begins to settle, new layers of truth are starting to peel away, and what's being revealed isn't just disturbing, it's downright infuriating. Because what's emerging from behind WWE's polished PR statements is a storm of secrets, betrayal, and emotional chaos that could shatter the Bloodline forever. And at the heart of it all, Roman Reigns, the tribal chief who, for the first time in years, doesn't seem to be in control. The hospital confrontation. The world thought Roman's visit to Jacob Fatu's hospital room was an act of compassion. But what really happened in that room has now leaked, and the truth is much darker than anyone expected. According to two hospital insiders who spoke under anonymity, the visit didn't end peacefully. At first, Roman was calm, sitting by Jacob's bed, holding his hand. But as doctors explained the extent of the injury, how Jacob might never wrestle again, Roman reportedly snapped. One witness described hearing him shout, "This wasn't supposed to happen. He's my blood." Nurses had to step in to calm him down. Jacob, heavily sedated, tried to speak, but the only thing witnesses heard him say clearly was, "Solo, didn't mean it." That single line sent chills across the locker room when word spread, because it confirmed what many suspected: this wasn't an attack born from hatred. It was an accident born from chaos. But that doesn't erase the damage done. WWE in crisis mode. WWE officials have been in emergency meetings ever since. The company's entire creative direction has been derailed. The Bloodline was supposed to headline the next major premium live event with a massive story arc building toward WrestleMania. But now, everything's uncertain. Behind the scenes, Triple H has reportedly stepped in personally to manage the fallout. His message to the locker room was clear: this is not entertainment. This is real life. And we stand by our family. But privately, sources say he's furious. Furious that the company's biggest faction has imploded because of internal tension. Furious that production crews didn't step in sooner. And furious that leaked footage of the fight has spread online faster than WWE's lawyers can stop it. The leaked footage. And speaking of that footage, let's talk about it. A new clip, filmed from a crew member's phone, surfaced online early this morning. It shows the final seconds of the altercation. You can clearly see Jacob shoving Solo swinging wildly, and Roman trying to separate them. But then, in a blur of movement, Jacob stumbles backward, crashing into a metal production crate. The impact sound alone is enough to make your stomach drop. You see Roman's face instantly change: shock, then horror. He kneels down, shouting Jacob's name, trying to move him, until someone screams, "Don't touch him." That video has already hit millions of views across X, YouTube, and TikTok. Fans are furious. Some are demanding Solo's suspension. Others are begging WWE to protect its performers better. And through it all, one haunting image remains: Roman on his knees, staring at Jacob's motionless body, as the reality of what just happened sinks in. The fallout within the Bloodline. Word is, Solo Sikoa hasn't been seen at any WWE facility since that night. Insiders say he's gone completely off the grid. His phone's off. He hasn't spoken to Roman. Not even to Paul Heyman. Apparently, WWE security escorted Solo out of the building immediately after the incident. He reportedly didn't resist, just kept repeating, "Tell Jacob I'm sorry." But here's the part that's tearing fans apart: WWE hasn't suspended him yet. Some believe Triple H is waiting until Jacob's medical status is fully confirmed before making a move. Others say the company wants to keep everything quiet to prevent lawsuits or bad PR. But the locker room? They're divided. Some superstars are furious, saying WWE should have stepped in earlier as tensions were clearly rising for weeks. Others are defending Solo, claiming the entire thing was just a freak accident, a tragic moment in a heated argument that went too far. Roman's silence. Meanwhile, Roman has been completely silent since leaving the hospital. No tweets, no promos, no appearances, nothing. But new reports suggest he's been spending time with his family in Florida, away from the cameras, trying to reconnect with the man behind the tribal chief. Apparently, Roman told close friends that he blames himself, not Solo, for what happened. He reportedly said, "If I hadn't pushed that family loyalty so hard, maybe none of this would have happened." That right there tells you everything. The guilt, the pressure, the emotional weight, it's all catching up to him. The tribal chief who once stood untouchable now finds himself drowning in the very loyalty he demanded from everyone else. A message from Jacob's family. Jacob's wife, Liana Fatu, has finally spoken publicly for the first time. In an emotional Instagram post, she wrote, "My husband is strong. He's fighting. We don't know what tomorrow looks like, but we have faith. Please, keep praying for him, and stop spreading hate. We are family. We will heal." Her message instantly went viral, with thousands of fans and wrestlers sharing words of encouragement. Even The Rock commented, saying, "Family is forever. Stay strong, USO. We love you." That single comment reignited speculation. Could The Rock step in and play peacemaker for the Bloodline story once Jacob recovers? It's possible. But right now, it's about healing. Behind the cameras, the emotional toll. The atmosphere in the WWE locker room has been described as tense and grieving. Paul Heyman, known for his calm, calculated demeanor, reportedly broke down backstage during production meetings. One source said he looked at Roman's empty seat and whispered, "The Bloodline was supposed to be family, not a funeral." Cameras captured Heyman quietly leaving SmackDown tapings last night without addressing anyone. You could tell he's not in character anymore. None of them are. The fans' reaction. Meanwhile, the WWE universe is divided but united, divided in who they blame, but united in heartbreak. Fan chants during live events have shifted from "acknowledge me" to "pray for Jacob." Signs flood the arena. The energy is no longer hype, it's heavy. And it's not just fans. Wrestlers from AEW, NJPW, and Impact have sent their love too. Even AEW star Samoa Joe posted, "Family first, always. Prayers up for Jacob. This goes beyond brand loyalty. This is human." The Bloodline's legacy in jeopardy for years. The Bloodline was the story of WWE dominance, loyalty, power, legacy. But now, that very legacy might collapse under the weight of real-life tragedy. Roman's empire is cracking. Solo's guilt is eating him alive. Paul Heyman's loyalty is being tested. And the WWE audience? They're watching history unfold not in the ring, but in reality. There's talk that WWE might pause the entire Bloodline storyline until Jacob's condition stabilizes. Some producers even want to rebrand or split the group entirely. But others, including Roman himself, are pushing for one last story, a redemption arc dedicated to Jacob. A story that shows family not as perfection, but as pain, forgiveness, and love. The internal memo. An internal WWE memo leaked this morning states, the Bloodline storyline will be paused indefinitely. All scheduled appearances for Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman are postponed. We ask all talent and staff to respect the privacy of the Anoa'i and Fatu families during this time. That memo confirms what fans feared. This isn't just a pause. This could be the end. The Bloodline era that dominated wrestling for nearly 5 years might have met its final chapter not in the ring, but behind the curtain. The visit from Cody Rhodes, but then something unexpected happened. Cody Rhodes, Roman's greatest rival, reportedly showed up at the hospital 2 days later. Yes, you heard that right. Cody walked into that hospital, not as an opponent, but as a man showing respect. He sat with Jacob's family, left flowers, and stayed about 20 minutes before quietly leaving. Witnesses say he didn't allow cameras, didn't post anything on social media, and didn't speak to press. But one person in the room claimed Cody said, "The story can wait. The man comes first." That line spread like wildfire. For once, even the fans who were Team Bloodline couldn't hate Cody. They respected him. Solo's breaking point. As for Solo Sikoa, reports say he's not taking this well. Family friends told local media that he hasn't eaten or slept properly in days. He's reportedly been seen at a private training facility late at night, pacing, breaking down, and punching walls. A close friend said, "He keeps saying, 'I didn't mean to hurt him. I just wanted him to listen.'" There are rumors that WWE is considering sending him to therapy or temporarily writing him off TV for mental health recovery. And honestly, that might be the best thing. Because no amount of storyline can fix what this man is carrying right now. Roman's redemption? Now, here's the twist nobody saw coming. Roman has reportedly told WWE that he wants to dedicate his next storyline whenever he returns to Jacob Fatu. He wants to turn this tragedy into a message. Not about power, not about dominance, but about forgiveness, family, and second chances. He's even pushed for Jacob to appear via video message once he's able, to send hope to fans and remind them that Bloodline isn't dead, it's family reborn. It's still just an idea, but knowing Roman, if he returns, it'll be powerful. The latest health update now, let's talk facts. As of this morning, Jacob's doctors confirmed small signs of improvement. He's regained partial movement in one arm. That's huge. He's breathing on his own again, and doctors are cautiously optimistic. But full mobility in his legs? Still uncertain. Recovery will take months of rehab, physical therapy, and prayer. Still, it's a light in the darkness. Liana, his wife, posted again, saying, "He squeezed my hand today, and he smiled. We're not giving up." That post broke hearts across the internet. Fans flooded her comments with love. WWE superstars reposted it with messages like, "The USO spirit never dies." And you know what? They're right. The future of the Bloodline. So what happens now? WWE is reportedly planning a massive tribute episode once Jacob is stable enough to appear via satellite. It'll feature members of the Anoa'i family, legends, and friends, showing that the Bloodline isn't just a gimmick. It's a dynasty built on real love and pain. Roman, meanwhile, is said to be preparing a public statement for the first time. Insiders say it'll be emotional, raw, and unscripted. He wants to speak as Lady, not Roman Reigns. And that's something the world hasn't seen in years. The wrestling world responds. Legends like Rikishi, the Usos, The Rock, and even John Cena have reached out. Cena reportedly called Roman personally, saying, "You carried the company for years, brother. It's okay to carry yourself now." Fans who once booed Roman are now sending him prayers. Even AEW fans, once bitter rivals in fandom wars, are showing support. Because at the end of the day, wrestling is one big family. The emotional truth. It's easy to get lost in storylines, in drama, in who's heel and who's face. But what happened here isn't kayfabe. It's not a segment. It's real pain. Jacob Fatu might never wrestle again, but his strength, his legacy, and his courage are now bigger than any title belt. And Roman? He's not just a champion anymore. He's a cousin, a leader, and a man trying to make peace with what happened. The unseen moment. One nurse who's been caring for Jacob shared something small but powerful. She said Roman left a chain around Jacob's wrist, a gold chain with a small tribal pendant. On the back, engraved in tiny letters, were the words, "Still my us." That one gesture sums up everything. Love, regret, hope. The final update as of this hour, Jacob is awake, alert, and responding to family. Doctors say he's stable. WWE has offered to fly in top specialists for his recovery. The entire locker room has united behind him. And Roman Reigns? He's reportedly planning to visit again, this time with Solo. Yes, you heard that right. Roman wants to bring Solo to the hospital for reconciliation. No cameras, no scripts, just family. If that happens, it'll be one of the most emotional moments in wrestling history. Closing narration. And so, this chapter of the Bloodline story doesn't end in dominance or betrayal. It ends in silence, in hospital hallways, in whispered apologies, in family finding strength through pain. Wrestling isn't just about belts and rivalries. It's about people. It's about the blood, sweat, and tears that make these men and women legends, not because they're invincible, but because they keep getting back up. Jacob Fatu's body may be broken, but his spirit? Untouchable. Roman Reigns may have lost control of the bloodline, but maybe, just maybe, he's finding himself again. Because when all the lights go off, when the crowd's gone, when the cameras stop rolling, one truth remains: family is forever.